going on, LEGO Maniacs? It's Ty, the LEGO guy here, and welcome to another LEGO Star Wars review. Today we're actually taking a look at a very interesting AT-AT. It's the 75054. It had 1,137 pieces, 5 minifigs, came out in 2014, and it retailed for only 110 US. Now this was kind of interesting. This set's retailing for 246 new or 96 used. So maybe you want to own every single AT-AT LEGO's ever made. If so, you can get this one pretty reasonably priced, especially if you want it used. If you want it new, not so much. And this set also has some of the best minifigures that any AT-AT's ever had. But we're gonna take a look at this set's positives and its negatives. But enough talk, let's get right into it. And to start us off, let's begin by giving you guys a 360 view of the AT-AT. Now, as you can see, it's quite sizable. This is basically the same size as the 2020, the 2003. They haven't really deviated all that much with the proportions. It obviously is much smaller than the UCS one, but we can say that for basically every single AT-AT. It's over a foot in height, or about 1/3 of a meter in height for those of you that use meters. So it's definitely not small, great display piece, but let's now take a look at it area by area. And the first kind of location I wanted to take a look at was actually the legs. Now I will say that the 2020, if you own it, the legs are kind of really flimsy. With this one though, the legs are very easy to move around. It's not gonna fall, like it's not gonna do these splits like the 2020 sometimes will do if you don't have the legs just perfect. Not saying it's a bad model, I'm just saying that I think that these are actually superior. I will say that the legs look a little skinny, especially if you look at the upper area of here, like right here. It should look a little bit larger like what we see in the 2003. They've kind of deviated away from that, which I don't really like. Just, you want to make this thing look strong and big, and these legs just don't perfectly represent that, but again, not the end of the world, and they actually work really great for playability if you're a kid, or whatever way you want to display it. The other thing that I really liked about this AT-AT is, if you notice, there's this little door in the center right here, and if you want to actually lower that door to kind of lower the snowtroopers, and this is my favorite feature off of any AT-AT, you just pull that little Technic pin out, and there it is. So I thought that that was a really cool little feature. Let's now move on to the upper body. And we'll start off with the head of the AT-AT. And as you can see, it's quite well detailed. Love the use of pieces that they used to kind of make the blasters. They even used a shovel right there, but it works. I'll also mention too that it doesn't look like it's squinting at you like the 2020. I actually prefer it just being brick built like this, unless they actually made a printed piece like they did back with the 2003. It also has some spring-loaded shooters on the bottom. We all know how those kind of work. Very easy to kind of just shoot them off though. Bang, we shut off both of them. Now I have to go find those. Now, this is where it kind of lacks a little bit. If you want to get to the interior, you can open it up like so, and it reveals general veers and the AT-AT driver, along with a little console, little control panel for the pilot. Now, it is quite snug in there, but it is pretty snug with the 2020 model. But the one thing about the 2020 model, unlike this one only fits one pilot, whereas the 2020 one fits two. So they definitely did a better job on the 2020 than this one. Not the end of the world, I just would have preferred, that could fit 3 minifigures, but bear in mind the 2003 actually only fit 1, so this was an improvement. Then if you move into the neck of the AT-AT, it's actually quite sturdy, and it's relatively similar to what we see with the 2020. Now, this is where the set really starts to drop off in my books, just the body. So you can open it up like so, and there it is. It's pretty lackluster. There's no seats, none of that. There's no speeder to put into the back here. They kind of just have, this area is basically all designed to open that little hatch. So there's a lot of Technic back there. Just open it up so you guys can kind of see what's going on. It's not the end of the world, it's just, it doesn't fit a speeder, it doesn't fit a turret, there's not even any seats in here, so this is probably one of the worst AT-ATs when it comes to the interior. As much as there is an adequate amount of space, they just basically don't do anything with it. And I'm not against the idea of them having this old Technic in here just so that little hatch can kind of come down. I think that that is a pretty cool feature, but by them doing that, it kind of sacrifices some of the interior, so you can't fit a speeder, can't fit a turret, but this interior right here should definitely have more seating, or at least have some seats, right? But yeah, that pretty well does the AT-AT. Let's now take a look at the minifigures. And here we have 3 of the snowtroopers that are included in the set. So you get 2 standard ones, and then you get a very rare Commander snowtrooper. He's actually going for quite a bit on the aftermarket. The main difference with him, again, is just his torso. As you can see, he has his little designation for his rank. And I absolutely love these snowtroopers. They are probably my favorite. I believe that they're the most detailed, the most accurate. They also have their backpacks, their pauldrons are cloth. These are just things that we don't see with the snowtroopers even in the present day. I believe 2014 they really perfected them. Let's actually just remove their helmets to show off their back torso printing. And what's actually interesting is the Commander's back torso printing is still different than the standard snowtrooper. So I appreciated that, all these fine little details. I prefer more detail than not enough detail. Unless we're talking about older minifigures like back from the 90s and 80s. I like the nostalgic, simplistic look. And then we'll just show off their face printing, which is the wonderful angry clone face. This is actually pretty inaccurate since there was very few clones that were still serving by the time they came to Hoth. So anyways, they're not accurate, but that's what they decided to put on them. Probably the only negative with the minifigure, but you know what? You can very easily just solve it by sticking their helmet on, and now nobody knows, nobody has to see that. Let's now take a look at the final 2 minifigures, which are General Maximilian Veers and the AT-AT pilot. Veers doesn't have any leg printing, back face printing, but he's still a decent looking minifigure. And then the AT-AT driver actually is very, very well detailed. I'll just get his face out of the way. Again, it's just the angry clone face, kind of a plague with sets around this year. And we'll show off their back torso printing. Pretty decent looking minifigures overall. Veers actually is a little bit more detailed in the sets that we've got nowadays, but again, he's not terrible. I love the fact that he has a little headset. Definitely passable minifigures. Let's now get into the end of the review and get my final thoughts. Well guys, that was my review. Do hope you enjoyed it. Personally, I think that this is one of the most fairly priced AT-ATs. It's not the best, I'm not gonna say it is, but it's still pretty good. It has some awesome features. I love the fact that it has the little hatch where snowtroopers can come down. Also the minifigures, these snowtroopers are the best in my opinion. I love the fact that they have, what do you want to call it, pauldrons or whatever, you know, around their hips, and it's cloth. I think that's a lot better. They also have the backpack, which the newer ones don't. I think that these are probably the most accurate snowtroopers. You also get a nice AT-AT driver, General Veers. I do wish that this could seat 3 minifigures like the 2020 model, but it's kind of cool to see how LEGO has changed over the years and like developed and how they've designed it differently, you know, as the years have, you know, gone by. I would say the 2020 is better than this one, although this one, I like the fact that the eyes don't look like they're squinting at you. They just made it with bricks and it looks a lot better in my opinion. Besides that, I still think the 2020 is better, but this one definitely has some cool little features. But let me know what you guys think about this one, if you like it, if you don't, any areas you think they could maybe improve on it. I just think that this was very fairly priced. If you're a price per piece person, you're paying about 10 cents a piece. And yeah, they did an adequate job at it, I'd say. But yeah, that pretty well does the review, but if you liked it, leave it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing and click that bell so you're notified for any future LEGO Star Wars reviews, comparisons. Again, like we always say, we do one of them every Tuesday, and yeah, they're a lot of fun, especially when you see how like the AT-ATs have changed over the years. But yeah, that's what I got for you again. But thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.